Hello, this is Brenda Green from Living in the Go, and I'd like to welcome you to our third in the three-part series about different age groups and money. I interviewed 4 males and females from the ages of 55 to 71, and I got a range of perspectives. I hope you'll learn from these people and find some wisdom to take forward. So let's get started. So the topics that I covered with them are: what are your money challenges? Retired or still working, or both? And are you prepared for what's coming? And what I mean by that is that we're all going to have to face that grim reaper someday. We're all going to die. Are you prepared? What's your biggest fear about aging? So when I talked with these boomers, I got a lot of information from them, but I also did a little research, and this is what I want to share with you in terms of what's happening with our boomers. So boomers are online in great numbers. According to Google study, 78% of boomers were online by 2013. A full one-third of all boomers online described themselves as heavy internet users. And 82% of boomers belong to at least one social media platform. I'm assuming that's Facebook. They also spend more time online each week than millennials, and they use a lot of that time to research news and politics. Baby boomers were born after World War II and between the ages or the years 1946 and 1964. They represent our largest and most talked about generation. Baby boomers are typically characterized as those who grew up watching TV and doing a lot of protests. Baby boomers make up about 26% of the population, and that's about 77 million people. And 10,000 baby boomers reach retirement every day around the age of 65. California is home to more baby boomers than any other state. It tops Texas with 6 million, New York with 6 million, Florida with 5 million, and Pennsylvania with 3.5 million. Nearly a third of baby boomers have graduated from college. A surprising 59% of boomer parents were found to be providing financial support to their adult children, including living expenses, medical bills, and paying off loans. Baby boomers are spending less on entertainment and eating out, while they may be spending more on their adult children. Baby boomers may also be spending less on themselves because of this. There are now more female baby boomers than males. They started out pretty much even, but again, as time goes on, women do outlive men. About 2/3 of baby boomers are married. Some of the baby boomer generation may have celebrated free love, but now about 65% of them are married. Maybe about 12% of them have never been married, with the rest of the boomers being either divorced, separated, or widowed. The majority of baby boomers are homeowners. Owning the traditional family home was something that was part of the American dream. Everybody wanted to have it. So nearly 80% of baby boomers own their own homes, and 1 out of 4 boomers owns more than one property. 4 baby boomers have led from the Oval Office: Bill Clinton, George Bush, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, and Donald Trump. Baby boomers control more than 2/3 of the disposable income in the U.S., and that's according to a recent survey. Boomers are projected to have about 70% of all U.S. disposable income over the next 5 years. Not only that, but boomers will inherit about $15 trillion in the next 20 years. Surprisingly, AARP finds that this group is targeted by just 5 to 10% of all marketing efforts. That is really a waste, where the money is there and the efforts are geared more to younger people. So when I talked with my boomers about their challenges, these are the things that were the most important to them. The first being managing their money and being disciplined about how do they do that. Having enough to make it through retirement. Having their money keep up with inflation. Having their expenses continue to rise past their fixed income. Covering rising healthcare costs. And needing to continue to work past retirement age. Not enough money saved for retirement was a big one. I suspect since they're helping their adult children with their expenses, that could be a reason why they don't have enough saved for retirement. And the last but certainly not least of challenges was being laid off before retiring. There's nothing worse than thinking you're going to retire when you're 65 and you get laid off when you're 62. There's a 3-year gap there. What are you going to do with that? Now, retired or getting ready. So boomers are not well prepared for retirement. The median 401k balance of someone in the ages of 55 to 64 is about 178,000, and that's according to a report from Vanguard. So using the commonly used 4% rule of retirement, meaning that you take 4% of your retirement money to live on each year, this translates to about $7,100 per year. Even with combined Social Security income, that isn't nearly enough for most retirees to sustain their quality of life. Worse yet, 45% of baby boomers report having no retirement savings at all. So many baby boomers plan to work in their retirement to supplement their Social Security. Keep in mind that if you work while taking Social Security before you are at your full age for benefits, then you could have some of your Social Security forfeited. So make sure that you understand the cutoff. Check with Social Security before you do that. Now, I asked the question, are you prepared? My boomers were not as prepared as they would like to be. Often a trigger to make them start thinking about it is when an older parent or relative dies, and when they try to figure out what their wishes were, if they had insurance or anything, is a very frustrating process. So then it makes them think, maybe I should do something. So the questions that I ask are you discussing your wishes with your family? Are you writing things down? Do you have a will and a trust, especially if you own a home? Do you have a health directive? Do you have a durable power of attorney for others to act in your behalf if you're disabled? People often think about, well, I might die and what's going to happen. The reality is you could be disabled. You could be in a hospital and someone has to take care of your bills. If you don't have that power of attorney, it gets very complicated. Now, the fears that they have about aging, really aging can be a state of mind, so you have to stay engaged. Exercise helps you mentally and physically. So the goal is to stay mobile and flexible so that you don't have any injuries. Another key factor is to maintain a social life. Continue to learn and share your knowledge. According to the National Institute on Mental Health, the majority of American seniors consider depression to be a normal part of aging. Even though more than 2 million of the 34 million Americans that are aged 65 and older suffer from some form of depression, clinical depression should not be considered normal. If you feel like you're being overwhelmed, if you feel that you are depressed, discuss it with your doctor. There are things that they can do to help you. They can treat you. There's a PhD in psychology at the University of Massachusetts. Her name is Susan Whitbourne. She's done a lot of work with people who are retired and aging and how they feel about it. Her key thing is to say, don't get bogged down in all the hype about aging, because if you start thinking about it too much, it can drive you crazy. There's nothing you can do. The clock is going to tick away. So make the best of it and live. Live your life to the fullest. There's another psychologist by the name of Mark Frazier here in Illinois, and he's worked with older people from the ages of 65 to 105. He says again and again he's seen an important key to physical health being to accept your age right now, but also know that it won't stay the same. Aging changes everyone and everything. What you want to do is age gracefully. To age gracefully, you need to anticipate that things are not inevitable. People who think rigidly do not do well. So as you encounter the natural changes in health status that are part of aging, these things are experienced in a lot of different ways. If you think of them negatively, then it'll add a lot of stress and strain to your life. You might get overwhelmed and think you can't manage it, and that can lead to depression. So keep a positive attitude, keep an open attitude, find ways to do things that keep you feeling vital and young. Make friends with people not your age. I have friends of all different age groups, from 16 to 82. And I learn a lot from that. I understand a lot of different things that are going on. It helps me to figure out what's going to happen with me, and I can share my knowledge with people who are younger to let them know what's coming for them. You want to plan for activities before you retire. It should not be a transition. It shouldn't be stop work today and fall off the cliff tomorrow. It's time to follow your passions and live, so you want to do that for sure. In summary, gain as much knowledge about your finances as you can. You want to identify what your money challenges are and find solutions to address them. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's information out there on the internet that you can read. There are books at the library that you can go to. There are even seminars that you can attend that are free. Do that. Just make sure that you understand what's going on with them and know that there's always a way out. Try to go into retirement debt-free to make your money last longer, because if you have a lot of credit card debt, it makes it very challenging to keep those expenses at bay. Plan for the inevitable and be as prepared as possible, and share the information with your loved one. If you do decide to do a will or a trust, don't lock it away in a safe and tell no one. Get rid of your stereotypes about aging and do what makes you happy. Continue to stay active and form social networks. Live your best life and be an example to everyone around you. Now, as always, I have my beliefs, and you can take these or not, but it's things that I think that are important to live by. So here they are. It is never too late to make some financial moves. Assess your situation and see where you can make some changes. If you are starting today with no money in the bank, okay, make a concerted effort to have a little bit of money put aside each month. Sacrifice, make those changes because you're going to need it. We all have challenges, but the difference is how we handle them. You can worry about them briefly, then start tackling them. It's okay to have a pity party sometimes. Just don't let the pity party become the full-blown. You know what you need to do. Live the life you can afford, not your neighbors. We don't really know what's happening next door, and we may not want to. Stop thinking debt is okay. It is a means to buy a car or a home, but it's not a way to have a lifestyle. Always do what works for you and your family regarding money. Talk more, love more. No one leaves this earth wishing they had worked more to buy more stuff. Stay out of the past and live right where you are. Be present because this is it. This is all you get. So as always, I'd like to thank you for your time and your attention. We're starting a movement here. I want to share this information with everybody. So please subscribe and tell your friends because that's how we get this movement going. Thanks again and have a great day.